Hello everyone, welcome back for your daily dose of serotonin. This is part 8 of Lost in Orbit titled Stage Play. Your eyes widen at his gesture. It's a pleasure to meet you. You clear your throat, hesitantly returning the greeting. Your bow isn't as graceful. It's clumsy, puzzled, and jittery. First impressions are everything. Fortunately, mine come with complimentary flowers. His head cranes, the corners of his eyes curling upwards. His hand lifts, brushing past your face and anchoring the stem against your ear. Your skin buzzes from the sensation. It's delicate, sitting in place like a handcrafted gift. It's an odd gesture, one only seen in stop-motion, vintage films with barely any color. Yet, he does it like it's part of a routine he's perfected, simply adding the cherry on top. Understandable for someone of his status. He meets world-class people daily and has more impressive and powerful connections, the kind whose confidence fills the room before they even walk in. How many flowers does he have on standby? And how does he even keep them all alive? That's quite a lot of flowers, you say, lighter this time, trying to flush away your nerves to match his energy. Not even, he snorts, a dismissive hand waving lowly. It's not often I meet someone interesting. Interesting. It's such a vague adjective, subjective, too open-ended, but the way he says it doesn't feel like casual observation. He called you an escapee, rising star, sharp-tongued, all while wearing that cryptic half smile, the kind that tells you he knows things, and oh, does he know plenty. With a slight twirl, he statues himself beside you, mimicking your body language. He's far more than just a familiar face. He's a magnetic presence. His light humor and charisma are enough to make the dull auditorium shake with laughter. Up close, though, the charm is quieter, more deliberate. It's the kind that doesn't need a spotlight to work, the kind that isn't shown in his commercials, magic book, or on stage. And he finds you interesting? Interesting, you huff under your breath. You tilt your head through the gaps in the crowd, occasionally catching a glimpse of that green hair. The genius, Gen shakes his head, a low whistle pouring past his lips. Weaknesses, impatience, and statistically improbable bad luck. You scoff. That's hard to believe. People like Senku aren't undone by luck. They study it, measure it, and break it down into cause and effect until there's nothing mystical left to blame. Despite the commotion around him, he doesn't bother giving them a single flicker of his attention, like he's learned to drown out the outside noise, zooming in on the only thing that matters. They lean on his chair like some community bench. One guy balances both his palms on the top of the edge, rocking back and forth on his feet to look over Senku's head. Blatant disrespect. Wow, Senku, you explained it so well. Could you show us again how the flower knows where to turn? One of the girls prods her finger at the flower. He doesn't even glance at her. Fingers adjust the stalk of a sunflower, steady and precise. Photosynthetic tracking, heliotropism. The plant follows the sun for optimal light absorption. You're blocking the light right now. Move, he says, not missing a single beat. She's taken aback by his blunt remark, but settles into an awkward laugh. You can't imagine being that sane with so much happening around you. Gen's arms fold in your peripheral view. As you can see, quite the ladies' man, he declares. Not a minute later, the same girl points to something else. She misfires, and a beaker drops to the floor. Silence. Utter and painful silence. Glass shards scatter, the brick glinting beneath the sun's harsh light. The ear-piercing sound digs into you, and you crinkle your shoulders. The group collectively flinches back, breath hitching in the shared silence. They wait for his reaction, glass crackling under their feet from their tiptoeing. He doesn't flinch, not even to look at the damage. Dropping things doesn't make you useful. If you actually want to help, Fetch me a spectrophotometer. If not, clear out, Senku says, sounding as bored as ever. The other three step to the side, legs wary and voices hushed. With frantic hands, the girl who caused it drops to her knees. It was an accident, I swear, she ducks down, broken glass clinking between her fingers. Leave it, he snaps. She cowers like a child who's been scolded, his cold tone slicing through her. Their worry morphs into anger faster than you can blink. One of her group members stepped forward, accusatory finger pointed at him. Hey, that's not cool. She's just trying to help, she snarls. Yeah, man, what's your issue? The guy sneers, radiating nothing but hostility. That escalated quickly. That's our cue. Gen slithers past you, jacket sleeves swaying by his sides. Warily, you follow him, far enough to maneuver if something goes wrong, but close enough to eavesdrop. The fragility of the situation hangs in the air. It's paper thin. Gen's shoes push some shards to the side, offering him a clean patch of brick to stand on. His very presence disrupts the tension, naturally drawing all the attention to himself. My, what a passionate crowd, he dips his chin, huddling into their circle like he's one of them. But let's not crowd the genius, You wouldn't want to be the reason his next breakthrough turns into a meltdown, would you? It was an accident, the culprit speaks up, tears brimming in her eyes while she walks away from Senku. Their reaction speaks volumes. They didn't expect him to be so blunt, so uncaring. Accidents happen, he reassures, stretching his arm to give her room in their little huddle. Senku-chan doesn't mean to bite, I assure you. Just imagine the horror if you'd sliced a finger open. He's simply just making sure no one gets hurt. Averting their gaze, no one is willing to admit fault when faced with someone who makes them feel foolish. How about this? He leers, eyes brightening with practiced joy. I'll be your guide throughout the lab. That's front row seats to top-tier commentary and comedic relief. It's again special. They loosen up at his words, straining the silence until it finally snaps into light chatter. He leads them away, his voice laced with honey. They stick to it like ants, and before you know it, they're gone. The whoosh of the doors is subtle, restoring the conservatory to its humming, self-contained nature. What a hassle, Senku breathes, chair screeching. He puts a hand behind his neck, head craning side to side. Not a single strand sticks out of his hair today. They're all gathered up neatly, forming that strong, deliberate sweep that mirrors his personality. Controlled, but never rigid. You would know. Last night, you got to have a too-close-for-comfort view of his face. Not only that, but you spoke to him, actually put together sentences, and somehow made him laugh one time. One of the things you said pops into your head. Don't volunteer, I might bite. You recoil from the memory alone, teeth bared with embarrassment. And that's not the worst part. The various times you tease him flash briefly in your mind as well. You blame the nerves. There was too much going on yesterday, and you simply didn't have the mental clarity to gather your thoughts. You're not doing any of that today, though. All you're gonna do is call out, give him his coat, and be on your way. That's easy enough. Greetings slip by you and dissolve on your tongue. All of them are too awkward, too out of place to just blurt into the silence. You clear your throat, hoping that it's enough for him to notice your presence. Instead of fully turning around, he bends his neck lazily, with his hands settled on his hips. His small, closed-lipped smile makes your fingers twitch more than they're supposed to. Sorry to disturb, you suck in a breath. I just came to give this to you. He knows that already. You facepalm yourself, freezing when you realize you did that physically and not mentally. He doesn't acknowledge your weird behavior, only wanders to the corner of the room. He returns with a broom, puffy cheeks shrinking from his exhale. For your own sanity, you're just gonna pretend like last night did not happen. That was pretty hectic earlier. You lower your hand with a soft murmur, nudging your shoe into the ground. The buzzing of bee wings is soft, threading through the quiet. Yeah, you'd think scientists would know how to keep their cool around broken glass. His short-sleeved shirt flows with the sweeping motions. Guess I should thank Gen for crowd control. You should have sensed the subtle familiarity in the air earlier. The way Gen introduced him, saved him, that hidden slyness in his voice when he spoke. But how in the world do they know each other? Yeah, he's quite the character, you trail off. He gathers the debris in one place, using a small metal dustpan to scoop it all up. The path to the desk is clear now. You go, curtaining the coat over his chair. Your movements are smooth and robotic-like. Thank you for last night. You smooth out the tiny wrinkles on the collar. The sun's glare is sharper than usual. It floods his workspace in white light, catching on the glassware and dissected sunflower. Gratitude noted. Appreciation granted, he says pointedly, already making his way back. He sits down, body not yet turning back towards his work. Now, what's your theory on chlorophyll degradation? Huh? For a minute, you think he's teasing you, but no, he's staring at you with earnest curiosity. You deadpan. The only correct thing that pops up in your mind is that chlorophyll is that thing that makes plants green. Maybe it's just the plant's version of a star going supernova, burning out so something new can form in its place. Stardust, soil, maybe it's the same kind of rebirth. I think plants fade the way stars do, slowly burning out the green before revealing what's been shining underneath all along, you say. He stays still, and your words travel through him, filling up the gray areas in his thinking process. Huh, photosynthetic poetry, he grins, eyes brightening like stars caught mid-burst. Light and life, same damn wavelength, huh? He rambles, something about connecting the dots and a new theory. It's fascinating to see how naturally he flows back into his work. Like the gears in his mind were meant to turn this way, smooth, endless, self-powered. If you aren't busy, we could use an extra brain. He doesn't look at you when he says it, just adjusts a beaker like the offer's casual, scientific. It would make for some interesting theories. You almost tumble over from laughter. That must be a joke. He's telling you, the girl who studies stars and stuff, that your half-baked answers will make things interesting? We? You dart your head around the room. A liquid starts to bubble in one of the vials, and he tends to it, unfazed, like he was already expecting it. Yeah, he swirls a thin metal rod in the liquid. Once Gen is back from his expedition, he and I are going to be working on cross-species chlorophyll synthesis. To most people, that would sound like a dream come true, working with Gen Asagiri and Senku Ishigami in the same room. But you don't really have the stomach for it. Not today. Star Trek needs you, the field you actually specialize in. I doubt I have anything useful to add. You laugh lightly, shaking your head. Plants aren't really my specialty, you know? He shakes his head, eyebrow raising. I'd beg to differ. And that is the end of part 8, titled Stage Play. I know the oblivion of YN is going to be the death of us all, but okay, there's some very interesting stuff stewing in for the story, so they might not be able to get their science lab time now, but there's something even better planned for them. So be on the lookout, and thank you for listening to this chapter, and I hope you are ready for more, because I am ready to give you all more. Thank you and goodbye.